Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just be officially updating you on some latest news. So a bit more additional information was updated in regards to Alexis Sanchez, because I've obviously been updating you about Alexis Sanchez on a regular basis. Obviously we do know his transfer saga away from Manchester United, of course, does continue to persist. Obviously throughout through the majority of the summer, obviously we have been trying to get rid of Alexis Sanchez, but obviously due to his substantial wages, that seems to be the stumbling block of him making his proposed move away from Manchester United. Now reportedly Ole Gunnar Solsjaker has had his overarching view on Alexis Sanchez. Now reportedly he wants Alexis Sanchez to stay in the football club. Ole Gunnar Solsjaker does expect Sanchez to play a lot of games once he's fully fit, of course, because obviously he's been working hard on his full fitness, Sanchez, and that. And obviously I think Solskjaer's confirmed as part of his plans for this season. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer does believe that Sanchez will have a good season this season, as obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has blatantly said. And that he's also dismissed speculation about Sanchez training with the Manchester United reserve teams, obviously to try and force him out of the football club, because reports have been emerging out earlier on this week saying that Sanchez could be sent to the Manchester United reserve team to train with them, obviously to force him out of the football club. Now obviously we do know that Sanchez has not yet played so far this season. Obviously wasn't named in the squad against Chelsea. Also wasn't named as part of the pre-season squad. Obviously, Alexis Sanchez had been playing on Copa America duty with Chile, and I do believe he had sustained some kind of a hamstring issue in that. So obviously, Sanchez has not yet played. So if he is to remain at Manchester United, I do believe he will get given his opportunities this season. Obviously, a lot of reports come out. Was it early on this week or was it last week? Saying that Roma had reportedly been in talks with Manchester United over the prospect of taking Alexis Sanchez out on a long season loan. I think it did say we would be happy to pay them majority of his substantial wages to get him on a long season loan, and that. But I think the only way we can get rid of Sanchez anywhere is putting him on a long season loan, because I think we'll find it very, very difficult, of course, to get rid of Alexis Sanchez permanently, because obviously Sanchez is the highest paid player at the football club. Obviously he's on 400 grand a week, potentially rising up to 500 grand a week, based on the image rights and the bonuses, and I think that does equate to around 14 million pounds a year. But reports I think came out a couple of days ago saying that there is now a trio of Italian clubs interested in Alexis Sanchez. I think it did say Juventus were interested, also Napoli were interested, I think also AC Milan and that were interested, and Sanchez could be open to making a return back to Italy. Don't forget when he was a lot younger he had 5 successful years with under knees and that, and I do believe Sanchez is one of the problematic players with the football club, and I think he's also become injury prone since he's become a Manchester United player. Alexis Sanchez he has become injury prone, sustained quite a few injuries last season and that. But I did initially say his wages having a really bad effect on the football club, but Sanchez has been below his fitness in that. I did say his fitness levels should be fine by the time we do play Wolves on Monday evening and that. But Sanchez, he's behind, the likes of Mason Greenwood. He's also behind Daniel James. He's also behind Rashford and that. So obviously, he's going to find game time very, very difficult. Is Sanchez. Obviously, he's been a huge disappointment, since his arrival, back in January 2018. Sanchez has only managed 45 appearances in all competitions and only managed 5 goals, and I think he has provided around 9 assists. But Sanchez, was an exceptional player at Arsenal. He was also an exceptional player, when he was at Barcelona. He even played under Pep Guardiola's guidance, when he was younger at Barcelona, but he just hasn't replicated any of this form at Manchester United. And looking at it now anyway, he doesn't have a future at the club. He's 30 years of age. I think he's actually nearly 31 now. Is Alexis Sanchez and that. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has admitted that he wants Sanchez to remain at the football club and all that. I don't want him to remain at the football club. If he does get the opportunity this season, maybe he will improve Sanchez, but he has been a huge disappointment so far. When we did get Alexis Sanchez, I thought it would have made a sort of similar impact, to how Robin Van Persie did, back in 2012, or was it, 2013. But Sanchez has obviously, been a huge disappointment in that. So obviously, I did say his wages are really, they're the stumbling block of him, leaving Manchester United. But Sanchez, could be open, to making a return back to Italy. It also says he's actually, refusing to leave Manchester United, is Alexis Sanchez. So that is the update on Alexis Sanchez. Now, Solskjaer has given no fresh injury updates, and that I think we've only got 1 or 2 players injured. I I think Eric Bailly is the only long-term absence. Obviously, we do know Eric Bailly has got a knee injury. Obviously, he's out for up to 5 months. I think Eric Bailly is out until Christmas time and that. And we do know how much of an imperative player that Eric Bailly is. Obviously, he has got a great potential in that. But I just think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected with his fallout under managers. Also, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. So Eric Bailly, of course, is injury prone, as you all currently know and that. But like I did say, I've been very impressed, so far this season. I thought the young players were a fruition, throughout pre-season. I think they're also going to be a fruition, throughout the course of this season and that. Because we have got quite a few young upcoming players. Obviously, we've got quite a few fringe players. We've got a host of experienced players, and I do believe they will get their opportunities this season and that. But we've had a great start to the season. It was a fantastic victory against Chelsea. Winning comfortably, by 4 goals to 0. It was good to see Daniel James, of course, scoring his debut against Chelsea in his Premier League debut. Obviously, coming off the bench. It was good to see Martial, get a goal. It was good to see Rashford score 2 goals, and of course, it was good to see Paul Pogba come up with 2 assists. It was also good to see Andrews Pereira, provide an assist as well. So overall, it was a very good performance against Chelsea in that. And he could go with a similar sort of team against Wolves. I don't think it'll be exactly the same team. I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker will rotate a little bit and that. But it was a very good result against Chelsea. Very good result indeed. And I think we are going to have a better season this season, because as I've been analysing the games throughout pre-season, as I did, watch the Chelsea game, I can see the vast improvements in the squad. Because we do look much better now in that attacking third in the pitch, because we've now got that pace in that attacking third of the pitch, and of course that's something we lacked last season. This is why last season, we only managed 53 goals in the Premier League and that. But we have now got that pace up when you've got Daniel James of electrifying pace. Don't get me wrong, he's still a prospect and he needs time to develop and that, and these improvements are needed in his game and that. But I think he's going to be a fruition for Manchester United and that, and he will succeed at Manchester United. Will Daniel James, Rashford and Martial, obviously, they can both play out wide, they can both play centrally. As you all know, Martial has been given that number 9 shirt. Obviously, he's going to be playing more centrally this season. I think Martial seems to stand out in that central position, because he seems to be more effective in that position. That obviously got proven, throughout pre-season and that. And I think Martial and Rashford are going to have a much better season this season. They were inconsistent in the last couple of months of last season, but I think they've started this season really well. They haven't quite emulated that level yet, Martial and Rashford and that, but they are both developing, fantastically well. Rashford is only 21, Martial, of course, is only 23 and that, but I think they're going to be fantastic this season. Obviously, Mason Greenwood, he got his chance against Chelsea. Obviously, he came off the bench. I think Mason Greenwood obviously has been assured more playing time this season, so he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Also, Chon's going to be a big part of the squad this season, and also, Angel Gomez is going to be a big part of the squad this season. My overarching view on the likes of, McTominay, Fred and Pereira, I think they did really well throughout pre-season. I'm still very sceptical about them. I don't know if they've got all the attributes to succeed at Manchester. I don't know if they can, sort of emulate to that level, But, I think McTominay will get more chances this season. I think against Wolves, McTominay will probably play alongside Paul Pogba again, like he did do against Chelsea, because I thought they blended in fantastically well together. But when McTominay is playing well, his defensive contribution is good. He plays between the lines and that, really well. There's McTominay, Pereira, he did well against Chelsea. Fred didn't play against Chelsea, but could be named in the squad, to play against Wolves. So could start against Wolves, or could, participate at least in the Wolves game if he doesn't currently start. My overarching view on Fred is I'm still very sceptical about him, like I said, but I think he's a much better solution than the Nemanja Matic, because he's more mobile and he's better on the ball than Nemanja Matic is Fred. We paid just under £50 million for Fred last summer. Obviously, he's actually in that list of one of our most expensive signings and that. But to be fair to Fred, he never really got the opportunity under Jose Mourinho. This is why he enjoyed a difficult first campaign with the club, but he did well towards the back end of last season. We've seen glimpses of how good it can be, throughout pre-season, Fred. So I don't know if he's the long-term solution for Manchester United and that. But obviously, we didn't strengthen that midfield up, and obviously that was one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's priorities. That he wanted to strengthen up that current midfield and that. It was good that we got that experienced centre half in. It was also good that we got that right back in. But obviously, we didn't recommend a midfielder in, and I wanted someone to play alongside Paul Pogba in our midfield. So I have got strong reservations about that midfield. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer give his overall analysis on the summer transfer winning. He's delighted with the summer transfer business, and we spent £148 million on Daniel James and Wan-Bissaka and Harry Maguire, and I think they're great additions to the squad, like I said. But I said we needed more than that. We needed to build on that, and obviously we needed to get at least one midfielder in. Obviously throughout the course of the summer as well, was in search for them a right winger in that. But I did say certain players, would have had reservations about joining the club because obviously, we're not in a Champions League football for this season. But I do believe, the players we was in for throughout the course of the summer who we didn't manage to get, I think we'll probably reignite our interest in them players probably in January. So I think we'll go for Bruno Fernandes in January because Bruno Fernandes is one of our top priority targets throughout the course of the summer. So I think we'll go back in for Bruno Fernandes in January. We could possibly go back in for Christian Eriksen, but I don't think Christian Eriksen's got any interest of coming to Manchester United. We could even, go back in for Paulo Dybala and that. So these still key areas, where Manchester United are lacking. We have strengthened some of the areas up that we need to strengthen up, which is very, very good, but we haven't strengthened all the areas up. But I did say it was going to be extremely difficult for us, to address all the problematic areas in one summer transfer window, because obviously this has been on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first summer as Manchester United manager and that. But like I said, I was very, very impressed with Harry Maguire when his debut against Chelsea. Obviously, he's going to be in line to start against Wolves and that. Harry Maguire, his distribution's good. He shows that ability to play from the back. He's highly experienced. Harry Maguire, he's 26 years of age and that. And I think he's going to address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well. Maybe we did overpay for Harry Maguire a little bit. £80 million, maybe. May have been a bit too, substantial for Harry Maguire. But, I think, it was good business from the club, getting him into the football club and all that. And I think, he's going to succeed at Manchester United as Harry Maguire. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first choice centre-backs are obviously going to be Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof and that. And they are going to blend in, fantastically well together. And I thought they blended fantastically well together against Chelsea. I did Harry Maguire and Victor Lindelof. But obviously, Harry Maguire is our most... Is the best option than what we've currently got in our backline at the moment. Victor Lindelof, obviously there's question marks around him. Can he keep the consistency up? And I think Victor Lindelof can keep the consistency up because I think he's flourishing at Manchester United. He's not on the same level as Harry Maguire, but I think Victor Lindelof, will succeed at Manchester United. You saw the vast improvements in his second season with the football club. Obviously he's in his third season now as a Manchester United player, and he's done well so far this season. As Lindelof wasn't really good in his first season. Lindelof didn't really settle in, lacked that consistency. But I think in his second season so far this season, he has been absolutely fantastic as Victor Lindelof. So I think Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire, can emulate into like a Ferdinand and Vidic because they were a fantastic centre-back partnership, back under Alex Ferguson and that. So obviously, we conceded 54 goals in 38 Premier League games last season. I don't think we're going to leak nowhere near as many goals as we did last season because as has been analysing it, we look much better defensively. We also look better in an attacking intent. We look a lot better. We're passing the ball better. We're getting the attackers that are receiving the ball well. They're getting them runs in behind. They're creating chances, and we are proving to be very, very clinical and that. Which is absolutely fantastic. And that I do believe we need to sell more players because these are problematic players in the football club and that. So I think we do need to sell players. Obviously, as it got confirmed quite recently that Joe Pereira, obviously, went to Hearts on loan, so he's now gone to Scotland. But 4 players have departed the football club, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's arrival. So we do know Valencia left at the end of last season after he served 10 years with Manchester United. Obviously, we do know Ander Herrera left. Also, Marian Fellaini left and that. And obviously, we was looking for replacements for Fellaini and, of course, Ander Herrera. And, of course, Romelu Lukaku left the football club last week. And that was good business in that aspect for Manchester United, getting rid of Lukaku and generating a substantial amount for a flop, basically. So, basically, Inter Milan got him for around £70 million. So obviously, we initially recouped, the money what we paid for him from Everton a couple of years ago and that. But Solskjaer, in his first press conference, gave his overarching view on the Lukaku situation. He said it was time for Lukaku to go. He mentioned that they had a great relationship himself and Lukaku, but he believes it's a good deal and all that, and he hopes for the best for Lukaku into Milan and that. But I'm glad now he's currently left the football club. Obviously, we'll pocket that £70 million, and obviously we'll look to use that money in the January transfer window. Some people said maybe we need a replacement for Lukaku. I don't think we do. Solskjaer explained the reason why we didn't get that replacement for Lukaku, obviously to prioritise the development of Mason Greenwood. So I think we're okay now in that attacking line, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think the likes of Diamond and Rojo, they both need to leave the football club because they're 2 problematic players at the football club. And you've got Rojo, to be fair to him, he did really, really well throughout pre-season, did Rojo, but I think his Manchester United career has been mainly affected, with the amount of injuries he has sustained and that. Did well throughout pre-season, like I said. He is now 29 years of age. Obviously, he's just got on the 2 years remaining on his contract. And I think we've put around the £25 million valuation on Rojo. Obviously, Everton inquired about getting him on deadline day and that. But obviously, his move to Everton didn't happen. You know, don't forget, we've still got until the 2nd of September to negotiate the sale of players. But I think we need to get rid of Rojo. We also need to get rid of Darmian, because obviously, you know, Darmian is one of the problematic players at the football club. And Darmian, if he is to leave Manchester United, I think he'll probably, you know, make a return back to Italy, because obviously he spent the majority of his career in Italy. You know, did Darmian, of course, when he was younger and that. And since he's been at Manchester United, obviously he's been here since the Louis van Gaal era. Obviously we got him from Torino, was it, back in 2015. Darmian hasn't really been given the chance in that, and of course he has sustained quite a few injuries. My overarching view on Nemanja Matic, I also think, you know, he needs to leave the football club. I know people are saying that, you know, he's highly experienced, and some people still think he's an imperative player. Obviously, he has won trophies in the past. You know, he won a couple of titles with Chelsea, and obviously we've seen glimpses of how good, you know, Matic can be. But for me, he's too slow, you know, too ineffective in that midfield, and I don't think he's, you know, first choice anymore. And actually, you know, Matic was first choice last season. That. But I think, you know, Matic is one of the problematic players at the football club. And of course, he isn't getting any younger anywhere. Of course, you know, the Nemanja Matic and that is aging up. So I think he's another problematic player. I think we also, anyway, you know, need to sell at least one central defender, because obviously now we've got around 7 central defenders. You know, we've got Maguire, obviously we've got Lindelof, we've got Bailly, we've got Smalling, we've got Jones. You know, we've got Rojo, we've got Tuanzebe in that. I think we're actually orchestrating on keeping Tuanzebe at the football club for now. Obviously, you know, due to the series knee injury that Eric Bay had sustained. But I believe Alex Tuanzebe, you know, is still, he's going to be a big part of the squad this season. Obviously, didn't play against Chelsea, but I think he's going to be a big part of the squad this season, because Alex Tuanzebe, you know, was impressive on his loan spell with Aston Villa last season, and I think in that aspect, you know, he has gained a bit more experience as Tuanzebe, and I thought Tuanzebe, you know, was very, very impressive, you know, throughout pre-season. And that, you know, with Smalling and Jones, you know, they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United. But like I said, these players here now that are no longer good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United and that. And Smalling and Jones, you know, they've been 2 long-serving players at the football club. We do know Smalling's been here 9 years. Obviously, we do know that Phil Jones has been here 8 years and that. And they're no longer good enough to represent Manchester United now. It was a bad business for Manchester United last season, of course, giving Smalling and Phil Jones, you know, new long-term contracts and that. I just don't think they're no longer. I think they're too inconsistent now, Marcus Smalling and Phil Jones. Analysing it as well, you know, we have got quite a few full-backs. Obviously, we've got Wan-Bissaka, of course, who is our first choice right back. You've got, I think, Ash Young, of course, who's a backup. Obviously, we do know Ash Young's been a long-serving player here. He's been here 8 years now. Obviously, he's in his 9th season now as a Manchester United player. Is Ash Young. I think he's coming to an end of his career now. Is Ash Young. I think this could be his last season of playing football. You know, Young's, I think he's 34 years of age now. You know, I think he's going to be 35. I don't know when he's 35, but I think he's around 33 or 34 years of age. We give him a new 1-year extension last season. Obviously, we've got Diego Dalot as well, who's a full-back, but can also, you know, play on the right wing. So he's very, very versatile. I think Diego Dalot, you know, will be giving him his chances this season. We've obviously got Darmian as well, who's a full-back. You've got Luke Shaw, of course, who was our first choice left-back and that. And I think reflecting on Luke Shaw's impressive performances last season, of course, he won the double player of the year and that. And I think he's a very imperative player, Luke Shaw. You know, very reliable on that left-hand side and that. But he was quite average against Chelsea, Luke Shaw, but I still think he's a very, very imperative player in that. I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker, you know, had actually, you know, spoken with Ed Woodward about the lack of business in the transfer market and that. But the good news is I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is safe for this season at least. You know, regardless of what happens, as long as we're not, you know, in mid-table or, you know, in fighting relegation, which isn't going to happen anywhere, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's job is going to be safe, because obviously, you know, a lot of the Man United, the vast majority of Man United fans, you know, have been criticising the board. You know, they've also been criticising Ed Woodward, and some of them are demanding Ed Woodward out. You know, quite a lot of them are demanding the Glazers out and all that, because obviously, you know, probably our fans are not happy with you know, with the transfer activity and that, because obviously the board at the start of the summer did assure that there was obviously, you know, going to be backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I think the board have come to terms, and you know, they've realised that, you know, they didn't back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer enough. So obviously, you know, the board are not going to go. They're not going to be ruthless on him this season, even if it is to go wrong. So I think the board are going to back him in January. I think they're also, you know, going to back him next summer and that. But yeah, these still key areas, where Manchester United, of course, are lacking. But I do believe our expectations this season, anyway, is obviously, going to be to finish in that top four and that, maybe win some silverware. And of course, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got to exceed these expectations. And I do believe we're going to finish in the top four, maybe in the top three. I think we're going to finish third this season. But we are going to have a much better season, because last season was a huge disappointment. Obviously, we finished sixth. Obviously, we didn't win any silverware, and we actually failed to qualify for the Champions League. But we've actually failed to qualify for the Champions League, 3 times out of the 6 seasons, since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can get Manchester United back, to being a competitive elite level football club. I think he's got the right sort of philosophy. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is following Alex Ferguson's philosophy. I think, obviously, we've got big ambitions for the future, and that's obviously. Solskjaer obviously wants to get Manchester United back to winning trophies and all that. This is obviously what he wants to do. Obviously, he did say at the start of the summer that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is looking to buy into our history and that. And obviously, with the dimension of this club and the history of this club, obviously we want to get back to winning trophies and that, because our history is absolutely fantastic. Obviously, we are the most successful team in England and that historically. We are the most successful team in England and that historically, but at least under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, at the start of the summer, he had some kind of transfer strategy. That he worked out his transfer strategy. That he wanted to recommend a number of young players to come to Manchester United. That can grow, develop, and emulate in superstars and that. But fair play, the board are not going to sack him this season. I hope it works out under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer anyway, because obviously we haven't got the structure to keep sacking managers, and we're not even known as a sacking club really. We've obviously sacked 3 managers since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. And obviously, we can't sack another manager, because obviously we love Ole Gunnar Solskjaer a lot. He was a great player for the club for 11 years, and of course he flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. And he has got a bit of experience as a manager, as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Don't get me wrong, he did well at Molde. He won a couple of Norwegian titles there. Didn't do so well at Cardiff. Only served a short tenure with Cardiff. Did Solskjaer? Don't forget he managed the Manchester United reserve team as well for a couple of years. So he did watch some of this team in this day and age, of course, grow and develop. So obviously all our fans are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that, and I hope it can work out under him. If we don't get the top 4 this season, then pressure could then be on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. But I hope he can remain at the football club, and I think he can bring that fear factor back to Manchester United, because that fear factor hasn't been at Manchester United since Alex Ferguson's retirement and that. But yeah, we have been inconsistent for the last 6 years or so, and I don't like the way the football club's been run anywhere in the last 6 or 7 years, and that obviously, the board haven't been backing our managers enough. Obviously, we have been inconsistent in the last 6 years, and don't get me wrong, a hell of a lot of money has been invested into the football club. It worked out around £968 million has been spent on Manchester United in the last 6 years or something like that. So that's just under £1 billion. If you do want to take into account what we spent under the Alex Ferguson era, it's obviously way over £1 billion and all that. Way over £1 billion that we've currently spent. Obviously, we spent £148 million, this summer and all that. But like I said, anyway, we've got a history of spending big on players. Obviously, in recent years, probably we have overpaid for players. We overpaid for Harry Maguire this summer. We obviously, overpaid for Romelu Lukaku a couple of years ago. People will say, maybe we overpaid for Paul Pogba, because obviously, well, at the time, we wouldn't have thought we overpaid for him, because obviously we thought he'd been really good, and obviously in the majority. Since he rejoined Man United from Juventus back in 2016, he has been mainly inconsistent. But, with Pogba, I think he did well throughout pre-season. He did well against Chelsea. Don't get me wrong, he did well in that 3-month period when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager. I thought we overpaid for Fred last summer. With Di Maria, we also got him as well, back under Louis van Gaal, who just paid £60 million for as well. So we have got a history of spending big on players. We haven't only spent big on players, we've also got players on big contracts and that. But we can afford to do that, because we're a massive club. Obviously, we have got massive revenues. Obviously, we are one of the richest clubs in the world. But like I do keep saying, regardless of where our manager is, no one is going to ever follow Alex Ferguson's legacy. We're never going to achieve what we achieved under Alex Ferguson, for 26, 27 years and that. We're never currently, going to do that and that. And we're never going to do that. But I just hope that we can get back, to being a competitive elite level football club. But like I said, you know, analysing it, you know, the majority of this squad's not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, there's only 3 players that are Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. You know, obviously don't forget Solskjaer's still inheriting 11 of Jose Mourinho's players. You know, he's still inheriting players even from the Van Gaal era. Obviously there has been players that have left now from the Louis Van Gaal era. Don't forget the Stu Wan-Matter from the David Moyes era. You know, he's still inheriting players even from the Ferguson era. Of course, is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. So looking at it, he's still in the process of rebuilding his Solskjaer. But like I said, hopefully, you know, he can get us back, you know, to being a competitive elite level football club. Now, obviously, as I give you my preview for the Wolves Manchester United game, obviously, you know, it's on Monday night, 8 o'clock kickoff. Obviously, it's the second game of the Premier League season for us. Obviously, it's our first away game and that. And like I did say on my 2 previous videos, it's going to be a very, very difficult encounter. It's going to be a tough, difficult encounter for Manchester United. You know, Wolves are very competitive, they're well organised, they're good defensively. They show good attacking intent, you know, they're really, really good there from set piece and that, and they have got good players of Wolves, and I'll credit Nuno Santo, he has done a pretty good job with Wolves. Obviously, Wolves got 7th last season. I think they did get qualification to the Europa League game as well, but Wolves' record against the top 6 sides is obviously, you know, very, very impressive. So obviously, we've obviously now got to be on our game. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer hasn't got a good record against Wolves. Obviously, he's lost all his 3 games against Wolves to Solskjaer. Obviously, twice with Man United last season. I think also once when he was a Cardiff manager. Obviously, we lost to Wolves twice last season. Well, we didn't beat them at all last season because it was 1-1 at Old Trafford. Wolves beat us at Molineux twice 2-1, once in the Cup, and obviously, you know, once in the league and that. So it is going to be a pretty difficult game. Obviously, Wolves drew with Leicester on the opening day of the Premier League season. I think Wolves played quite well in that game. There was quite unlucky. I think, you know, they had a disallowed goal, did Wolves. But it is going to be a pretty difficult game. Like I said, Monday night, 8 o'clock kick. I don't really like Monday evening games. If I'm going to be quite honest with you in that. But I'm confident, you know, Manchester United can win this game. Like I said, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will probably rotate a little bit. He may go with a similar team as he did do against Chelsea, but I think he'll, you know, rotate a little bit. You know, Fred could play in this game. He didn't play against Chelsea. Sanchez possibly, you know, could be involved. Because there's been a change of scenery now about Sanchez. Eric Bay's obviously a long-term absence. I think Fossil Mensah's still injured. Maybe Tuanzebe could even play in this game. I think McTominay will keep his place in that midfield. I think, obviously, you know, definitely, you know, Paul Pogba's going to be playing. I think Paul Pogba should be freed up because that's when we really see the best of Paul Pogba, of course, you know, when he is freed up and that. Maybe Mason Greenwood could even start the game, or if he doesn't start the game, you know, could participate in that. I don't think Wan-Matter will start because obviously, you know, Wan-Matter is no longer first choice. Lingard, he should start the game, or if not start, you know, should be involved. Lingard, you know, can play in that number 10 or can also play on the right. But obviously Lingard can play number 10 and right. Also Wan-Matter can play in that number 10 and play on that right. But it'd be interesting to see, you know, what lineup he goes with. Obviously. You know, Solskjaer, I think this season on a regular basis, he'll probably go with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Could sometimes go with a 4-3-3 or could even go with other formations, but I think he'll go with that 4-2-3-1 on a regular basis this season, because that's mainly the formation we do go with, especially, you know, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, got recommended in. Don't get me wrong, we've gone with the 4-3-3 quite a few times. Haven't we used that 5-3-2 formation before, if I'm right? If I'm right. But yeah, I think we're going to win this game against Wolves. But it won't be easy. Like I said, you know, we've got to be on our game. But yeah, definitely, you know, it isn't you know, going to be easy in that. But Wolves had a good season last season, of course, by finishing 7th. But I think, you know, Manchester United are going to win this game. I only watched bits of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference. You know, he was talking about Sanchez, you know, because his future, there's uncertainty about his future and that. But Solskjaer actually has admitted now that he wants him to stay, and he thinks he wants to be a part of the squad this season. That obviously he spoke about Fred. I think, you know, he expects more from Fred this season, and I think, you know, Fred, you know, will improve this season and all that, hopefully. In regards to David De Gea, obviously he's our first choice goalkeeper. Obviously he's potentially the best goalkeeper in the world. Obviously he's agreed a 6-year contract with a football club, you know, which is very, very good. I think he's going to be on around 375 grand a week. I don't think his contract has yet been announced as David De Gea's. You know, it should be announced sometime. Well, I don't think it's been announced because I haven't heard many news about it and that. But yeah, let's just do this a minute. But yeah, and I think Man United are going to win this. I already give you my score prediction for the game, didn't I? I think it'll be, what, 3-1 to Manchester United against their Wolves and that. Obviously, after Wolves, it is, I think, Crystal Palace after Wolves. So that's another game, basically, Manchester United should win. I think we're also this season, going to improve against the top 6 sides, because our record against the top 6 sides, was disappointing last season, but I don't think we're going to be, we're going to be all the top 6 sides home and away, but I think our record against the top 6 sides this season is also, going to improve. But analysing it, we have got a pretty decent team in that, these quality in that team there, but I just don't think it's good enough yet, to win the league and that. And I've already told you I think it's going to win the league this season, probably Manchester City. I think Liverpool for runners up and that. I think I saw somewhere between Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher. I think, was it Gary Neville that told Jamie Carragher that he thinks Man United are going to win another Premier League title before Liverpool win a Premier League title and that. I don't think Liverpool win the league this season. I think they'll be up there. Liverpool invested well in the last couple of windows. Didn't sign anybody throughout the course of this summer. Obviously City, I think, signed one player this summer, and I think that was Joe Cancelo from Juventus. But City are a great team. They've got the experience. Liverpool haven't. City have got a great manager through Pep Guardiola. And Pep Guardiola's won so many honours as a manager, so many honours as when he was a player and that. And I think Guardiola's emulating the football, what he did at Barcelona and Bayern Munich, and he's brought that to Manchester City basically. Don't get me wrong, I think he spent £1 billion in all his managerial career. I think the majority of that £1 billion is obviously, or over £1 billion has been spent obviously, at Manchester City and that. But obviously City are going for their 3rd league title on the trot. Obviously they're 5th all in all. Liverpool obviously want to win that title. They have never won it. They've never won the Premier League at Liverpool since it got founded back in 92-93, and all in all they haven't won it for 3 decades. You got Jamie Carragher winding Gary Neville up the other day, obviously, because overall Liverpool have actually, I think, won more trophy than us, so they have one more trophy more than Man United. Liverpool have won 43 overall. We've won 42 because obviously Liverpool won the Super Cup on Wednesday, if I'm right, against Chelsea, 5-4 on penalties. But yeah, I think City will get 1st, Liverpool 2nd. I think Man United will finish 3rd. Maybe perhaps Man United, could finish 2nd. But I think, we'll finish 3rd this season. I think 3rd is actually the lowest we ever finished, under Alex Ferguson and that. And like I did say, I think, Tottenham, they should be, challenging this season. Tottenham, got off to a good start against Villa, winning by 3-1. With Tottenham, their expectations this season probably, will be to win a trophy, basically. Pochettino will obviously, have to exceed these expectations, because obviously he hasn't got that proven pedigree yet of winning many silverwares, Pochettino and that. But Tottenham, have come close on a few occasions to winning the league. I think the closest they come is when Leicester, won it that season and that. They got to their first Champions League final last season, they Tottenham and that. Tottenham, I think, could get top 4, but I still don't think, they are going to win the league, because obviously there's teams better than Tottenham. You've got City that are better than Tottenham. You've got Liverpool that are a couple of years ahead of Tottenham, just like City and Liverpool are a couple of years ahead of us at the moment. So I'd say we're on the same sort of level as Arsenal. In the last quite a few years now, we've been on the same sort of level as Arsenal, because they've had problems as well of Arsenal. But to be fair to Arsenal, they did really good business throughout the course of the summer. They should be challenging for the league this season. I don't think they'll win the league this season, but I think they should get in that top 4. So I think it'll be between Arsenal and Tottenham for 4, and I think we're going to finish 3rd. So I do believe we're going to finish higher than Arsenal. I think we'll finish higher than Arsenal this season and that. But yeah, we will see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I'm confident, we can beat Wolves. Like I said, Sanchez, could play in the game. You don't know, do you? He could play in the game. And yeah, so there's been a change of scenery now, because I was reading reports the other day saying that Solsjaker wants him out, and now all of a sudden, Solskjaer believes he expects Sanchez to play a lot of games when he's fully fit and that, and he wants him to stay at the football club all of a sudden, because I think he's obviously come to terms with Solskjaer that we're going to find it difficult to offload him, reflecting on his substantial wages. My overarching view on Pogba, obviously there's still uncertainty around his future. Obviously for the entirety of the summer, and we do know that Paul Pogba's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. Obviously, I think based on the substantial amount, we've put on Paul Pogba, I think this is this has been a stumbling block of him leaving Manchester United, because obviously, you know, we've quoted the fee what we want for him. We want around 180 million, so that's just over double than what we paid for him Juventus, you know, back in 2016. Obviously, we paid 89 million pounds for him. He's our most expensive signing. Not only the most expensive signing, he's also a World Cup winner. He's also one of the highest paid players in the football club. Is Pogba. But for the entirety of the summer, you know, there's been a hell of a lot of talks about him going to Real Madrid. There's also been reports emerging out saying that he could possibly, you know, make a return back to Turin, and that, you know, could Paul Pogba. But, you know, he could actually now stay at the football club, could Pogba. And I think Ole Gunnar Solsjaker is doing everything he can, you know, to try and convince him to remain at the football club. You know, Solsjaker has spoken to the vast majority of our players throughout the course of the summer, but he has been speaking a lot about Paul Pogba. He's spoken to Paul Pogba. He's also been speaking a lot about him in the media and that. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much an imperative player he is. So hopefully we can convince him to remain in the football club, because we can't afford to lose Pogba now, especially with our failure, you know, to land a midfielder, you know, throughout the course of the summer. Because when Paul Pogba's at his best, he's, you know, like two players in one. And we have seen, you know, him at his best as a Manchester United player, you know, Paul Pogba. And he was initially in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's plan, you know, to build the side around Paul Pogba. But Paul Pogba's agent, Mini Raiola, said at the beginning of pre-season, I think Paul Pogba was in the process of leaving the football club, and Paul Pogba confirmed a couple of months ago that he wanted to leave Manchester United. And that, you know, Paul Pogba's still got 2 years left on his contract with an option to extend it by a further year. But Paul Pogba's indicated out that he could still leave Manchester United this summer, and that he could still leave Manchester United and that this summer, but he's still a very, very imperative player, because, you know, taking Paul Pogba out of the equation in that midfield, you know, our midfield looks totally static and that, you know, and our midfield, these concerns already with that midfield, but taking Paul Pogba out of that, there's no creativeness, there's no work ethic there, so it's very imperative that we keep Paul Pogba, and if he does stay at the football club, we've got to try and avoid him, you know, sustaining any kind of injury in that, because I saw a few times against Chelsea, you know, in that opening 15-20 minutes, you know, we looked sloppy in that midfield, we were giving the ball away, we were losing possession far too easily, of course, in that midfield and that, so it's very, very essential that we can try and keep Paul Pogba at the football club. Real Madrid, of course, are not obviously willing to pay £180 million. Real Madrid have spent a substantial amount this summer. You know, they spent £300 million, of course, on 5 players, or is it just over £300 million, you know, Real Madrid spent. You know, they've sold players, Real Madrid, so obviously, you know, they have generated some of the funds and that back. But, you know, at first it said we wanted around 150 or 160 million. Now, recent reports said that we wanted around 180 million pounds for Paul Pogba and that. But he's still 26 Pogba, you know, still got a lot of years ahead of him. Obviously, it hasn't only been this summer that he's been subjected to a lot of transfer speculation. Obviously, there was a lot of narratives coming out last summer about Paul Pogba leaving the football club, you know, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. And Paul Pogba got one of his best wishes, of course, when Jose Mourinho left the football club and that. But Paul Pogba's stats were very impressive last season. 47 appearances in all competitions, scored 16 goals, provided 11 assists, and obviously with the club he's won the Europa League and the League Cup. Obviously that came in his second season with Manchester United and that. So still a very, very imperative player, is Pogba. But his future, you know, of course, still remains uncertain. I was reading reports last week, like I give you an update on, and it said that, you know, Paul Pogba's fully committed to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's project and that. So, yeah. So basically, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, throughout the course of the summer, has been working on bringing the right players to Manchester United, and he has got 3 good players in, but he's also been working on, you know, trying to keep his imperative players at the football club, and that's also, you know, good. And obviously De Gea's very imperative. Of course, we know now he's staying at Manchester United. But I do expect, you know, more players to probably leave. Well, I don't know if they will, but I think we need to definitely, you know, sell more players, because these players here now that are no longer good enough for Manchester United. With Sanchez, I don't think there's pointless Sanchez being here. You know, according to Solskjaer, he'll get more game time. He'll expect. Solskjaer said he's expecting Sanchez to play a lot of games this season and all that, and yeah, so we'll see what happens. So anyway, guys, the main part of this video, you know, was to give you the latest news in regards to Sanchez and all the rest of the other latest news. Also, I was reading reports last week, and they mentioned something about a technical director. Obviously, throughout the course, well, earlier on in the summer, you know, we was in search for a director of football, because I did say, you know, we needed a structural change at the club and that, and obviously there was quite a few names mentioned, you know, who could have taken that director's role at Manchester United. And I'd said, I know we're not going to get one in now, I don't think, but obviously, you know, I said, you know, we needed to get a director of football and someone who's got the experience and that, someone, of course, who knows the culture of this football club and that. But there was quite a few names mentioned. But obviously, it came out early on this summer that he confirmed that Ed Woodward, would be overseeing the transfer business, throughout the course of the summer. And obviously Ed Woodward has been overseeing the transfer business, throughout the course of the summer and that. But it was disappointing that, of course, that we didn't get a technical director of footballing. Yeah. But anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. Like I've said, I think on my recent videos, I am going on holiday this Sunday. I'm going on holiday. I am going away for 5 days, like I do keep mentioning to you. I should say, I'm going to say this on the start of my next video, so all of you are aware of it. I won't be able to do any videos in 5, maybe 6 days, something like that, because I will be too busy, whilst I'm on holiday. But as soon as I get back, I will keep you up to date, what's been going on and that. Probably the Wolves Man United reaction will probably come in 5 or 6 days later, after Monday and that. Then obviously we'll give you the preview for the Crystal Palace game and that, and keep you up to date with all the news as we always do. So won't be on again in the next 5 or 6 days after Sunday. So that's just to give you an update on. So anyway, guys, drop your comments down below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon.